Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. I am delighted to be joined by the very talented Danski Tang with her fantastic film Umbilical. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at the clip.
因為你係我最親近嘅人啊嘛，咁我覺得我都想話俾你知咯。即係
你應該早講我聽啊嗰啲。
Danski, what a wonderful film and such a wonderful story and conversations. Thank you for bringing it to us at New Filmmakers LA. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
Thank you. And my film, it's a animated documentary about a conversation between me and my mother, and talked about how her abusive relationship with my father and also my own experience in a boarding school when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, firstly, I just want to say thank you for sharing, something so personal. Coming from an abusive household myself, I really know how personal that can be to sort of have those conversations. And sharing that story with your mom is so important as well. But for you personally, like, when was that moment you kind of decided that I want to turn this into an animation and have that conversation with my mom? When was that moment for you?
It was actually my grad school thesis, and at the time, and I need to have ideas, and it was just a point that away from China, where I was born for 3 years, and I suddenly feel like this is and I look back on what happened, and I feel like that's what made me. So I think if I'm a filmmaker, film is my life. So I decided to make a film about it.
And your style of animation, which we're going to get into, is just wonderful. You create these scenes where we just feel so much from what you designed for us. But listen, I love my mum to pieces the same way you love your mum, and I'm just so curious, like, when you're talking about something that you've experienced, how do you, as a filmmaker, sort of like get that comfort zone to be like, okay, let's have a conversation together, because obviously you got to make the people involved comfortable as well as yourself. Like, was that kind of hard to do that, or what was the process for you in doing that?
So it wasn't hard because we had that conversation before, we talked before, and so I thought it was interesting, and so I told her that let's chat again because I want to make a film. And so she is very supportive always, and so that's what happened. And it was pretty natural.
Oh, good. Listen, this is great, and it was lovely hearing from both, because it's obviously you can sense that special connection that a mom and daughter have got through your voices. So it was really special to hear that as well, and connecting with each other. Listen, your style of animation, of course, a lot of it involved a lot of flashbacks from these different experiences. Did you kind of have a clear idea in your mind how you wanted to present it, or was that kind of something you discovered from even just your conversations? Like, when did that kind of work for you, and how did you have an idea of how you wanted to deliver it from an animation perspective?
At the beginning, I started from gathering the memories. Like, I think about elements like a bunk bed or dorm room. And then later on, I decided I don't want it to be so explicit. So I thought maybe I should abstract imagery from the emotion, which is loneliness or, that kind of thing. So I thought, what can I do to represent that kind of environment and atmosphere? So I generate some imageries from the feeling rather than the reality.
What was kind of the most difficult part of the process for you?
I think it was most difficult. I think technically it was the editing at the beginning. I have these conversations that how do I thread them together? How do I, you know, organize them? And the other one is that after I finished it, I just feel like it's so personal to make it public and just, you know, I have this thing going on, like just keep thinking it's that kind of battle in my head.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I think one of the things, I don't know whether you thought about this when you were making it, but like, I think that the audience not only just got to hear your story of connection and talking about things that are very tough, but did you kind of, I mean, I think this was also helpful for other people to have conversations and things they went through and actually draw conversation. Was that kind of something that you were thinking about? Because I felt your film can universally connect with a lot of people who have gone through things too.
At the beginning, I didn't think about it, but as soon as my film screens and people come up and told me how much I kind of say what they wanted to say, but they just couldn't. And I thought that was super meaningful for me. Like that's like so meaningful than any other awards or recognition. Yeah,
you captured that so well. Like I really felt that, you know, even just you had the conversations that people were too afraid to have with their own family members or people they love, you know, and I thought that was so powerful. Now, I mean, listen, again, it was a really wonderful film to visually watch, you know, and experience. Was there kind of, as you said, you kind of took a more sort of abstract approach to certain things. You know, I felt that without showing it, you really gave us the feeling of it or the imagination. Like, I don't know how you work as an animator, but I love how you kind of put us in scenes and you kind of let my own imagination roll with what you gave me, you know, without revealing anything. You know, it was just the abstract was there. Is that something that you like to kind of do in other films, or is that something you just specifically have for this film?
Yes, that's something I'm really interested in because I think when I'm making a film, I want to initiate a conversation with my audience rather than telling them what happened and what they should think. So I think imageries can do that, and including the sound or the atmosphere that I created, I think that can work.
Yeah, and again, I say your style is wonderful. Is there any kind of influences that you look up to, or other animation styles, or people, or films that you enjoy that kind of that you like to sort of, you know, use as a platform?
I inspired by a lot of fine artists, like the watercolor section. I was really inspired by Louis Bourgeois. Yeah, maybe that's how you pronounce it. Or and yeah, just that's how I come up with the imageries from artists. And filmmaking, I'm inspired by, I can't even think of it, just too many.
Well, now that you've made the film, and obviously telling a personal story and everything else, does it kind of almost feel therapeutic that now you've made it? Does it feel nice that do you feel good after you've made it? Like, do you feel like it felt like it did the job that you wanted to do? Or is there anything you kind of learned by it that you would have done differently looking back?
I think it's great because sometimes there are things going on in your life. You kind of have to relive it to work it out. Oh, what happened as an adult, and that's what happened to me. So I mean, yeah, I'm so done with the film though. Like I don't want to watch it again. But I feel like I feel like I went through it again and I understand it. It helps me to look forward.
Yeah. No, fantastic. Well, I also love to know what is happening next for you. So I know it's obviously an interesting time, but what next are you working on?
I'm working on a film that's about a closeted lesbian living in a very conservative country, a Muslim country, and it's also going to be an animated documentary. Yeah, it's just a conversation between that we talked about.
Oh, wonderful. Is it a short film?
Yes, it's going to be a short film.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Well, looking forward to seeing that one too. That's fantastic to hear. I know obviously you got a long way to go in your career thus far, but I'm just curious, is there any piece of advice you could share with any animators out there or storytellers or as a filmmaker that you kind of, you know, is important to you or maybe you've learned on your journey thus far?
I mean, I think just stick to your own path and then try to go further. That's my advice.
I love it. We'll go with that, Danski. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, thank you for bringing this very special film to us. Thank you for, you know, bringing your talent to us. We really appreciate having your film, and I know there's people that you may never meet that it will help and support. So thank you very much for making your film.
Thank you so much for having me.